I'm on somewhat of a retreat today, and then I'm in a new place. So that automatically makes it a retreat, right? My friend needed a little bit of help, so I'm acting as chauffeur for her, kind of taking her around some places. So she actually has this cute little bed and breakfast, but no breakfast because COVID, so it's just bed. So I'm going to be working here today, and I thought it would be a nice time to kind of explore the area. There's no one else here, so it's all very safe. I'm just going to find a couple different places to write and sort of chat about mental health and just where the writing's at too. So I don't know what I'm going to chat about, but let's get to doing that. This whole area is so nice, by the way. We're not too far from the road, so you can hear the road noise, but you can also still hear like the wind rustling through the trees and see, you know, armadillos. I'm the only car here. First off, I'm thinking a little tour of the place, yes, minus our own personal junk here. We have writing chair 1, writing chair 2, plus a desk. We have a nice little scenic view, a couch to write on. I will just write on this instead of just propping up my feet. My bed, my friend's bed. I guess I could find a way to write in here. Even the bathroom if I, you know, was really desperate or something. I didn't pop up as much as I thought. But first I have a little bit more video editing to do on the average writer thing, and then we will get to the writing. So today, what's today? Today's Friday. I don't know that you can see that. Friday, October 16th. We are officially halfway through Preptober. It doesn't feel like it. Let's get to working, then we'll chat. In this little upper right-hand corner, there's no internet. It's Frankie. There's no internet here either, or at least internet that's not very good, which has actually resulted in an uptick in my productivity, perhaps unsurprisingly. Like, there's no puppy distraction. There's no, I'm just kind of wandering around the house and seeing things that need to be done distraction. There's no authortube, YouTube spiraling that's happening. I brought my book, and truthfully, that's been the worst distraction so far, but we're getting to it now. Even though I now am using this camera's a distraction. It's fine. This is why I didn't pick it up till 1:30. Okay, let's get to getting. And now finally, it is time to write like the average writer. End quote. Okay. Well, now that that is not done, but like kind of set up, like I have 11 minutes and 42 and I actually have to insert all the vloggy bits of this experiment of the video. I think I'm actually going to test out the coffee all the way back there and see how that is, and then I can talk over some things. Yes, woo, let's go. Oh no. You know what? Never mind. That's not ours. I'm scared. We're gonna move over to this and bring the computer with us. Eve! Yeah.
Let's see.
Hi. I mean, I'm trying to make the shot all pretty, and you know what? Instead we're going with the shadows. So, let's talk about burnout a little bit. I think that's what I want to talk about. A lot of friends, I'm still thinking about that coffee that's still in there, and it reminded me of when Brooke and I met up during Camp NaNoWriMo. This is gonna connect, I promise. When we met up during Camp NaNoWriMo and we found boxers in the room. Camp NaNoWriMo also, just besides the story, was because of NaNoWriMo and the burnout that a lot of people have after NaNoWriMo, and my whole like hopeful plan to completely avoid that. That's why I'm not doing the daily vlogs this year. And I had said that I was gonna do daily Twitch streams because I thought that was like, I could get work done so it would be productive, but also be chatting with people. I still think this is like, the logic's true. However, I got sick, like I had a bad cold or really bad allergies. I'm not entirely sure which one. As someone who suffers from allergies, it's always a mystery. Is that whirring fan in the back too loud? Hotel life. Boop, 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 boop. So when I wasn't feeling well, I got really, not really behind, but I was behind on my work. There's some times where I'm a few days ahead, and that's really great, but I was not feeling good for like a week. And it was one of those where I finally had to accept that doing work each day, even when I was sick, was counterproductive to me getting better. And so I slept so much during that time, and I had to cancel things that I had planned, and I was like, no, I just need to get myself better. And so I did, and so that's what it took, but now I'm behind. And so then that's where this nagging fear comes in, where what I know is true, which is like taking breaks is good, taking breaks is healthy, taking breaks gives you inspiration and all sorts of other stuff. And yet feeling like if I say no to things, no to opportunities, no to things that I want to do but require more work, that I'm shooting myself in the foot, right? So those are the things I'm balancing. And this kind of goes back into my whole 2020 goal before the world melted of wanting to take weekends off. This has been a recurring struggle for me. And I think I just finally realized with the getting sick and just seeing myself not get better because of the stress I was putting on myself, that this is a more serious thing and I need to make this lifestyle adjustment. Yes. So after November, and actually during November, so here's what I'm doing. Let me walk it back. Let me bring it a little closer. This is serious time. And I want to lean because my posture has gone bad too. Okay, should I go a little bit closer now since I'm truly leaning? Look at me go. Okay, so rather than doing Twitch every day, I'm only gonna do it on weekdays. That'll give me a chance to not be as insane during the weekends during NaNoWriMo. It's still gonna be insane because I'm still gonna do some YouTube live write-ins on the weekends. I'm still gonna be doing like book club stuff with friends on the weekends for YouTube and like whatever. And I'm still gonna be doing this stuff that's not always work, but work adjacent on weekends. But after November, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm just gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and that's okay. It's good to say no. And it's okay to not have as many people come to a thing because I'm not doing it on the weekends or whatever, you know? That's okay. It's okay. This, of course, might change in the future, and by that I mean it probably will have to change in the future, you know, when the world is not melting. A lot of authors do book events and stuff on weekends, and in the future I'd like to do that. I'd like to be part of things like that, and that requires saying yes and changing my schedule. But I think for my own health purposes, I just need to say no to weekends. I need to have a brain like shut off, a restart on weekends, and I'm not letting myself do that so that I'm just running the battery completely dead. Is that an analogy that works? I was thinking about phones, that I moved over to cars. I don't know, it's fine. This is very close now. Okay. Now today's Friday. Even though I drove a little bit yesterday to help my friend get here, I'm still gonna do the work on Friday so that tomorrow when I'm dropping her back off and then when I'm driving home, I'm not stressed about having to get certain things done. Or, even though I will be because I do have to get some stuff done. Or I'll know that there's an end date to this. That's the thing. I think a lot of stress is because the end date feels so far away, and I'm just really promising myself and trying to put it out here so that I'm somewhat accountable that I won't do it anymore. That being said, let's get back to the word, shall we? Since again, we're still halfway through October, and I still want to chat with you about Meridian Maps on here. Swoop. It's my leftover pizza. Whoops, the macarons. No, there we go. Quick pizza break and book break. Page 263. So my whole Meridian Maps plan was to zero draft books 1 through 5. Again, book 1 I queried, so it had already had like multiple drafts. It's the only one that had multiple drafts. And this worked really well in that I was trying to figure out the story. I didn't want to get to book 5 and realize that things that needed to be put in book 1, 2, 3, and 4 were missing from book 5 and have like a whole thing. But now I've been trying to write book 5. I have about a 5,000 words or so in it. I think maybe 6,000 actually after I include yesterday's voice to text stuff. But what I'm finding is the itch to return to book one and start enacting all those changes is there already. Like, now that I've figured out everything that needs to be put in these other books, keeping myself to work to book 5 and not those changes and coming back to book 5 has been a struggle. And I'm like, you're the one setting the rules, self. If you want to go ahead and work on book 1 and take out, you know, certain elements, put certain elements in, who's to say you can't do that instead? So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to work on book 1 because it's more polished, so it'll be nicer to reread over than like book 3 was. But to feel like I'm progressing in that sort of stage too. One of the biggest things is I'm taking out the flying ship component. The ships can no longer fly. We're back to like, there is magic and such. There's a lot of lore in this fantasy world that we're going to explore, different creatures that I'm really excited about. But the actual flying ship element doesn't help it. It, I think, initially wants to sell it as more steampunk. It's not steampunk. This is just full fantasy. And like the big battles I was having work just as well on land and by sea and magical elements here and there as they do making it like flying ships. I don't want to say that's the biggest element, but after I finish my Project Death reread, I'm gonna go back and reread book 1, and I already know that that's a big one that's going to have to change. But I'm excited for the change. It's definitely making the story better. It's making it tighter. A revision, my friend. I'm in the midst of you right now in another capacity, but like, did I ever truly leave the revision stage? I feel like one lives in revision and we just take day trips to drafting for the amount of time spent. Ooh. But that's also the exciting part. It's like a puzzle. Y'all know I love puzzles. It's fine. You know what? I probably am not gonna read any more of this today, so we're going to commit the great sin of dog-earing it, and there we go. Oh look, she's home and with crazy hair because I tried to put it up. This is gonna be day 2 hair that I'm gonna braid. I just finished doing ring fit for the first time in forever, so I took a shower, but then the hair I was like, I'll fix it. But at this point in my channel's history, it doesn't matter. You know, since I had makeup on earlier, it's good to sort of balance things out. I am home now. This is much more of a chatty video than it is like a writing vlog or anything. But I did start putting those plans into action for changing my Twitch schedule and for getting some of my YouTube stuff figured out, because look at what I have done. Look at how cool. It's a fundraiser. I reached 500 patrons on Patreon. I'm actually a little over 500 now. And so to celebrate, I'm doing a 5-hour write-in. And so I'm asking people, it looks like this is probably gonna be the winner. Anyway, so trying to work on scheduling. I've reached out to a couple people to potentially help me host some of the fundraiser live write-ins during November. And I feel like I'm just sort of slowly getting back on track. I'm still behind on stuff, I'm still catching up, but I guess the sort of last thing to be said as I'm still talking about mental health and all that is that I worked out today. I haven't done that in a while other than just walking. And I'm saying a while since like before we moved, a while. So that was nice. Even though I couldn't do it for very long. I took a picture. I think I got like 70 squats in total, and I can tell I might regret it tomorrow. But in a good way, in a good way. So back to exercising, but then I've also been doing like, I don't even want to call it new things, but it's kind of like this writing retreat because, you know, traveling's not something we can do right now, and that's something that I used to really enjoy. Depending on how long you've been watching this channel, I went on a 4-month solo road trip of the US and Canada, and it's something I always made time for, and that's where I put a lot of my, you know, extra money was into traveling and into planning trips. Not having that has been weird. It's made me reevaluate some things and like how important they are to me, and I don't know that I've fully reckoned with it yet. And it becomes a whole point of how do you reckon with it when we're still in the midst of it? Yes. But I've also started doing things like trying new things here and there, and I think that's somewhat filling the void of what can easily become monotonous in terms of just working from home, living at home, not being able to go anywhere else. So I feel like I'm kind of clawing my way out, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm trying. Anyways, please do comment down below. Let me know about your experience with burnout. Let me know if you start seeing the initial sort of stages of that in you, what you're doing to actively sort of fight against it. Let me know how far in advance you plan things, and in general versus now in the time of Corona. And I guess just let me know new things you've tried, what you're doing to combat this weird time. Yeah, I guess that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially to some of my new patrons this month. Naomi Roth, Sabrina Kalberg, Ollie, Hannah Floyd, Civilian, Shiny L, Enrique A, Megan Castleman, Lund Lines, Karina, Hannah Jane, Christine, and I will see you all very soon in a video. Bye. A little bit windy out here. Limberley Valley Radio. Giant boot.